You're tuned in to Maroon TV News.
Coming up on Maroon TV News, alcohol-related ER visits are on the rise. The Logan Center unveils a new addition, and a Maroon TV exclusive interview with David Axelrod.
Welcome to Maroon TV News. I'm Natalia Summy.
And I'm Alex Sideropoulos. This week's top story. The Arlie D. Cathy Dining Commons was forced to close after lunch on Thursday due to recurring health code violations.
This past fall saw Chicago break yet another admissions record with a whopping 30,369 applicants. That number represents a 20% increase over 2011's applicant pool of 25,307 applicants.
On November 19th, the Seminary Co-op bookstore moved from the Chicago Theological Seminary to its new home in Hyde Park at 5751 South Woodlawn Avenue.
It's January 18th today. Hundreds of University of Chicago students are here, right inside Henry Crown Fieldhouse, participating in the annual Cuvia event.
My roommate told us about Cuvia and he was super excited about it, so we thought that maybe we should try it out. And you don't get the chance every day to come to the lake, salute the sun, I don't know, see the sunrise.
Okay, we're here with David Axelrod, the director of the Institute of Politics. Tom Brokaw, who's a special correspondent for NBC News. NBC News political director, chief White House correspondent and host of the Daily Rundown on MSNBC, Chuck Todd. I don't know when you have a time to possibly sleep. It amazes me.
Well, by the advice I always give, I go to bed a lot earlier than people realize, and you basically, you don't partake in what most college kids partake in these days.
Okay, I see. So an important issue to students at University of Chicago is immigration reform, and I know that's been particularly working on right now in the Senate, but Harry Reid this past week announced basically that he wasn't really sure if anything was going to be brought together. What do you think are the prospects of this legislation or something getting passed?
I will be stunned if it's not. And the way big deals happen in Washington is when both sides... Members of Congress don't do things for the greater good. They do things for their own personal gain. And the fact of the matter is the Republican Party needs it to happen and the Democratic Party needs it to happen. This is a case where the political needs align.
I have friends on both sides of the aisle, people with whom I've competed against time and again, who I count among my best friends, because I know they care about the country. We have different ideas about how to proceed, but it doesn't disqualify them in my view.
The President put down a pretty big marker in terms of what he wants to get done. Obviously, he knew there would be pushback on a number of the elements of it, but the legislative process is give and take, we hope. And what I really hope will come out of this is a national dialogue that will stay proactive for the foreseeable future, that people in communities, not just in the halls of Congress, in schools and in gun shops and in sporting places, will begin to talk about what's the best answer in the interest of all of us.
The Chicago men's team hoped to bounce back against 3-0 Wheaton after suffering their first loss of the season against Augustana. The first half was all defense as both teams were held under 45% from the field. The score heading into the locker room was 28-23 in the Thunder's favor. An 8-0 run early in the second half tied the game for the Maroons, but Chicago was never able to take the lead. Wheaton eventually pulled away with a 17-5 run late in the half, led by third-year guard Tyler Peters, who finished with a game-high 24 points. The final score of 64-52 pushes Chicago's record to 3-2 on the season.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Maroon TV News. I'm Ryan McNamara. Have a great week.